Mind Your Business.
And Mind Your Business is brought to you by Kena Neuro.
David. Mind Your Business is brought to you by Kena Neuro, the Brain, Spine, and Nerve Center. Kena Neuro, established since 2017 and founded by Seventh-day Adventists. We provide a Christ-centered patient care through specialized medical services, from brain and spine surgery to neurodiagnostic tests. Whatever your condition, headaches, strokes, brain and spine tumors, brain and spine injury, weakness in arms and legs, seizures, and so much more, your recovery is just a phone call away. Call us today at 459-2228 or 459-2229 or 714-5503. Kena Neuro, the Brain, Spine, and Nerve Center.
Dear church, remember me.
Welcome to Mind Your Business, a program strategically designed to equip you to be your brother's keeper. Here are your hosts, Pastor Leroy David and Elder Alvin Flora.
Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to all our listeners and viewers. And certainly it's a good thing to be here at this time. And we want to say welcome to you, whether you're tuning in St. Lucia, at work, on vacation, on holiday, whatever it is. We're happy that you have joined us on this episode of Mind Your Business. Of course, don't take the blessing all by yourself. Let somebody know that Mind Your Business is on. Share the link. Let them know that we are on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. We are live on air and also on the app. So let them know Mind Your Business is on. And we have a very interesting, very special program, a program you cannot afford to miss this program. And this is your opportunity. It is your opportunity to come bold. It is your opportunity to call and ask your pertinent questions, and I'm sure you're going to take advantage of this rare opportunity that you have today. What is that opportunity? Well, you'll just stay tuned and you'll find out what that opportunity is. Of course, you know, Mind Your Business brings you informative, interesting programs that not just touch our lives, the lives of our community, it also helps us get better spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and also financially. We cover all bases on this program. And today our main subject is called Approach the Bench. Approach the bench. And of course, those who saw the flyer, the question was posed, which bench are we talking about? And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, which bench is it? Or what are they going to talk about today? Of course, you're going to know in a few minutes what that is. And maybe some of you have made the right guess as to what bench we were talking about. Approach the bench. And today, our main objective, I don't want to give it away in the objective. I should skip that. Let me do the key text first. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility. Value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. And certainly that's what we focus on Mind Your Business. Our subject text, it says, speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. And that is taken from Proverbs chapter 31, verses 8 and 9. Let me say that again. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, and for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. Do you know what bench we're talking about? Perhaps you know what bench we're talking about just from that text, and I can give you the objective now. It says here, to encourage the MYB family to be proactive in seeking justice, upholding truth, and engage responsibly with the law. It says that to encourage the MYB family to be proactive in seeking justice, upholding the truth, and engage responsibly with the law. Of course, there will be a time when we will open the lines, and I think we will do that very early so that you can contact us. We have our numbers, 452-1011, 452-1011, and we have our WhatsApp number 461-9647. You'll be able to contact and get in touch with us. Of course, I'm not here alone. I have two other special persons here with me. I'm going to introduce the first one right now, and that is our host, Pastor Leroy David.
I thought you were welcoming Richie back.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Richie is back. It's as if we didn't even miss him.
Praise God. Greetings and salutations to you, our viewers and listeners. We are indeed glad to have you. And, you know, as I listen to Elder Flora speak and introduce the program, it leaves me excited and just eager to see how it, unravels, for the next hour and a half. We pray that, of course, you have already found the time and you've already told a friend and asked your boss permission to play it wherever you are. And let's get ready, get the calls going. We have an expert. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried. All your questions will be answered today by the grace of God. So wherever you are, let's bow our heads and we pray. Father in heaven, into your hands we commit our thoughts, our minds, and even today's program. May you be with each and every one of us here in studio, out listening or viewing. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen and amen. And of course, if you're an avid MYB family member, maybe I can send a trivia question. What did we celebrate this week? Maybe that's a question I can ask the MYB family. And if you don't know, then maybe I can tell you. On Monday, October 13th, 2025, MYB celebrated its 4th anniversary. Yes, we've been on the airwaves for 4 years now, and it's really, wow, how time flies quickly, and the work that we've been able to talk about and the different issues we've been able to address and the learning that has taken place. I can tell you I've learned a lot by just being a host of this program. I can imagine for you listeners and viewers how much impactful this program has been. So let me thank you for your continued support, all the hosts and all the persons who have contributed, technical person, Praise FM team who have contributed to the program being where it is today. Thank you very much, so much for your assistance and your help in bringing the work forward that we do here. Thank you for you and your support, and may we continue to move from stride to stride in the MYB, in minding your business, in improving the community 1 week at a time.
Yes.
Right. Today we have a special guest with us, not a stranger to us.
No.
Not a stranger indeed at all. She's also very experienced in Radioland, and I just learned she's been part of a program on another radio station for 12 years. So she's well experienced, more experienced than me. 4 years and 12 years. I feel like a baby.
It's actually 15 years.
Miss, you made it worse. I was already. Yeah, so yes, she's vastly experienced in her field and also in her profession. And I'm not talking about any other person than Sister Veronica Bernard. She's a lawyer who operates the law office of Veronica Bernard. I hope I have it right. Yes, and this legal firm specializes in various areas of law, led by attorney Veronica Bernard. The firm handles cases in family law, criminal defense. No.
I know where you get it from. I don't do criminal law anymore.
Oh, you.
But she's retired from that part.
Oh, that I can cross off that part here. Yeah. Personal injury, estate planning, with strong focus on providing personal attention and comprehensive legal solutions. Veronica Bernard aims to help clients achieve their legal goals effectively. I think I have all the rest correct.
Yeah, that's enough there. Let's go on.
Of course, she's also a sister in Christ, and she is a member of the GI.
Oh, proudly so.
Yes, Seventh-day Adventist Church. As a matter of fact, when in the building phase, she served as the chairperson of the building committee. Yes.
Yeah, up to now.
Up to now, yes. And
because we haven't finished.
Right, and they hold the record for the quickest dedication in St. Lucia.
Absolutely.
Yes. And you know where the Grizzly SJ Church was and where it is now. We're very proud of the work that the Grizzly members have done under the leadership of, Sister Bernard and all the other elders and leaders, pastors who have done that. So we thank you. and we commend you for the work that you have done, and we're very happy to have you here with us today.
I'm happy to be here. I'm actually smiling, so that tells you I'm happy. Yes, Grozile, that's where my heart beats. And people ask me why. I have no idea, but I believe I have an idea why. When I decided to visit a Seventh-day Adventist church, I spoke with Sister Lacha. Everyone here knows Sister Lacha. She took me to Grozile. So if you got to blame her. I have no idea why she took me to Grozile, because she's a Marisol person. And I skip 13 churches every Saturday, and I go to Grozile. I'm quite happy doing that, and I will only stop when God stop putting gas in the car. Yeah,
and he has not done that. He
hasn't done that yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not. Yes. So you're thinking of her going the other way, so she could skip 14 and reach Gabriel. I see what you're doing there. You're trying to count. You're trying to count how many between where she lives and Gabriel. Yes, but we're certainly happy to have you, and I'm sure the MYB family who are listening and know that we have a lawyer in the house, and of course a member of our faith. And we are looking forward to our discussion today.
And let me just say, and it would not be me if I did not mention Grozile Church a little more.
Okay.
We are still in the building stage. We have not yet finished. And I'm sure if Pastor Roger is listening, he's laughing his head off, because he knows that everywhere I go, I talk about Grozile as a church. So please, we still have room in the coffers. There's still space for some money to come in.
Right.
Because we have not yet totally finished the church. So anybody who's listening and who wants to
donate,
right open.
Yes. Okay. Right. So of course you'll present the information in terms of contact information later on, or you want to do that now?
We can do that later.
Okay. So later on we'll give you some contact information.
They can do it through the mission for sure.
Yes. Okay. Just say Grozile contribution to the
SD Church building
fund. Right. So you can do that. Of course, they're building a very good edifice there, and of course, you know that we want to have the best facilities for members to worship and to give God praise. And God had specific ways that He wanted His tabernacle built so that He can dwell among us. So let us try to endeavor to give Him the best in all that we do.
And it's a very beautiful tabernacle.
Trust me, God is a beautiful God, so we cannot put Him in any old 2x4. You know, I mean, come on, it has to be reflective of God.
Yes. He speaks to that in Micah, I believe, too, as well.
Well, there you go.
When He told them, you're dwelling in beautiful homes, and my home is right there, and then it's leaking.
I mean, I can remember
problems.
In Grozile, service going on, Gwen Lapley, flooding and rain through the roof, and we had to run, get buckets, do this and that. And I've been there when it has rained heavily and the water just rolled in from the road by the polyclinic there into the church. Yeah, man. Bad. We can't put God in there.
Yeah, we praise God for great things that He has done, and great minds and great people that He has. Maybe that's why God had Sister Lacha bring you to
he probably knows. And of course, I had a great team, the building committee. With me was Brother Simeon, who really spearheaded the actual construction. When we started, it was with Pastor Emmanuel. Very good job, very great job. And, kudos to my team, my building team. We still, up to this day, meet every Monday night. We pray. And... if we need to talk about anything, discuss anything, we do that. But we definitely pray. Every single person on my team has to pray when we meet on a Monday.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yes, so let's get to law. Right, and we have a short clip to play, and then we will have a discussion on that clip, and we'll move on from the program. Yes.
A concerned father of a 7-month-old baby says he no longer knows where to turn for assistance for his son. The father, who wishes to remain anonymous, says that he wants to play an active role in his son's upbringing and to provide for him. However, he claims that the child's mother is deliberately getting in the way. Therefore, he says that he went to family court to get child access rights.
They told me they cannot do anything for me, they just take a report. Fine. A few days later, I got in a letter from them telling them I have a meeting there. Okay, I went, I called for the meeting, the mother's telling me meeting is rescheduled. Only to find out there's a meeting for true. Going there, speaking to a social worker, they're telling me, well, The reason they cannot assist me is a mother that have to bring a father there.
The father claims that after the mother failed to appear at a court meeting, he was referred to Human Services. He says that even after a process that took over a month, that department was also unable to help him. Now, his concern has grown even greater as he also claims his son lacks a birth certificate, which he attributes to the mother's inaction.
I went to daycare, she told me find daycare for him. I go to the daycares, all the daycares asking for a birth certificate. They're telling me even if you don't have the birth certificate, I can still bring him, but they need the birth certificate to apply for him to be under the daycare insurance. God forbid something's happened to him at the daycare. What am I supposed to do? What is she supposed to do? Let's say, for instance, he fall on his head, his skull crack or whatever. He don't have a birth certificate, the insurance at the day cannot cover him. So now they have to be going around with sponsorship, looking for sponsor. Is that making sense? I cannot do it anymore.
The father says that he is now being advised to get a lawyer. However, he says that he cannot afford one and feels like he has been failed by the system. As of now, he says that he is looking for any organization or person who is able to assist him. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Yes, and this is a case where a situation where a few fathers find themselves in a situation that we've heard many times before. So we want some legal position on this situation, and many more like it. And maybe we have someone listening here who probably is in the same situation. And what do you think about this case? What are your feelings about it?
I feel no way about it. I'll tell you what, you have to look at our own cultural, look at it in a cultural context where fathers were not known to be good supporters of their children. Mm-hmm. I do know for a fact, and I know it right, I've seen it in my practice, that mothers do use children to get things from their fathers. Now, if this guy really wants to look after his child, I am sure he can provide support to the mother. And when he begins to do that, there's always a way and a means that you can do that. Mm-hmm. Whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's maintenance money, whether it's clothing, mm-hmm. whatever. There's always a way. He can leave it at the daycare. He can, and I believe over time, the mother's heart may soften. The question that always arises is whether that is, in fact, the child's father. Mm-hmm. That may be an issue that one has to look at. Mm-hmm. And he probably can't accept that it's not his child. I don't know, the clip doesn't say that. Mm-hmm. But certainly at the end of the day, I find it strange that a court of law would not listen to him. Mm-hmm. I find it very strange because at the end of the day, whether he has no right of access or not, there is a child who may very well be in danger, who may have needs to meet, who may be neglected. And I find it strange that the Division of Human Services would not pay any attention to that. They do pay attention. They do summons people to come and discuss. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the law would not necessarily make provision for that. But what they do is encourage people to understand that it is better for a child to have both parents in their life mm-hmm. rather than one. And mm-hmm. we all know that. We are all parents mm-hmm. in here. Mm-hmm. So I deep within, I feel there's a little more than just what I'm hearing on the clip.
Mm-hmm. So, based on your answer, we can say that the family court or the law does not favor one parent over another.
Oh, I don't think it favors one.
Because he made the statement that he was told that it was a mother that has to bring a father there.
Well, I don't know how old that clip is.
It's about 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Okay. But I tell you, I find it strange that the Division of Human Services has not intervened and recommended something. It may well be that the law does not, well, back in the day when I practiced in that field, the law did not recognize fathers, unmarried fathers, where children were concerned. Mm-hmm. Guardianship lay in the mother where they are not married. And it was always difficult for fathers to get custody. And the only time they would get custody is if the court declared the mother was unfit. Mm-hmm. And unfit simply meant you were down in the gutters, you were a drug addict, blah, 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 blah. The really worst of the worst. Mm-hmm. And so from that point of view, I just find it strange he's saying he's knocking his head against the wall and he's getting no answer. As I said, I believe that there is something
More,
deeper.
yeah.
That's not. Because even if the law will not force it, but it will encourage it by way of counseling with both parents to let them understand that it is in the child's best interest for
together.
both parents to play a part. And I'm sure no mother will look at the father of a child and say, I'm not accepting anything from you for that child. That's strange. That's very odd. Even if she has nothing to do with him, and he's giving, let's say, money for the maintenance of the child, I don't think any woman in her right mind would refuse it. So I believe there's something deeper than that.
And that's what we're hearing.
So you mentioned something about custodies with the mother, right? And so
now we're talking about two situations: are the parents married or are they not married? I'm talking about the unmarried
if
situation.
they're unmarried,
yeah.
if they're unmarried. So because we have issues at our schools where in some situations where the registration card is filled and the mother's name is there. And the father's name is not on the card, right? Because it's the mother is the one who has who the child lives with the mother, so invariably she's the one registering the child.
Oh, indeed. But what I'm saying is, Beriflora, even if she comes and she's the one in charge, but surely whoever the administrator of the school is, she said, "What? Who is the father? Where's the father? We can't accept that child without the father's name being there,
Okay, all right.
because there's no child who is without a father, except there's situations where the mother may be too ashamed to reveal. She may have been raped. That child may have been, the result of a rape, and she's really not, inclined to say, well, I don't even know who his father is because I was raped.
Okay.
You understand? So these circumstances can arise, and in these situations, I suppose the administrators would exercise certain discretion not to keep the child out of school because of that.
Okay. So and a father, in that case, a father coming to the school, he would have his parental rights to...
Well, I don't know. I don't know. He has parental rights just like that. And we're still talking about an unmarried situation.
Yes.
I am not too sure that the law gives him rights where he can just walk into the school. Because the principal can say, listen, I don't know you. I've never seen you. I don't even have your name on my card.
Yes.
So how can I just release a child who's in my care to you?
Right.
Because don't forget, there's an obligation under the Act, under the Civil Code, where a principal assumes responsibility for a child under his or her care. So you can't just release, a child to someone just because they pop up and say, well, I'm the father. Suppose another person pops up and say, I'm the father. And goes on like that.
You'll have to get a paternity test.
There's problems.
We go to the next question. Is there a legal or procedural presumption in St. Lucia that favors a mother for custody, especially for young children? If so, how can a father successfully challenge that presumption?
We're still talking unmarried?
Yes.
Is there legal provision?
Presumption.
No, there's no legal presumption. There's the law and what's in the law.
Right.
And if the law says it's the custody is with the mother, it's in the mother.
Right.
And the judge can't change that. As I said, what happens in the court is that the magistrate would recognize the need to have both parents in a child's life, and they would encourage that and counsel them. And out of that counseling, some sort of arrangement would be made for maintenance, for visitation, for, these kinds of things. But if no one comes and you say, you're not my child father, what are you going to do?
So what if there's proof for paternity test that he is the father?
Yeah,
Does
well,
that change?
the court would obviously look at it differently. But as I said, at the end of the day, they would approach it from the point of view of encouraging the parties to understand that it is in the best interest of a child. Because at the end of the day, the court should be concerned about the welfare of the child. Full stop.
Right.
Than of the parents.
Yeah, okay, all right. So in terms of, you mentioned earlier about the mother unfit, and you mentioned the worst of the worst. So
in other words, if a woman is poor and she cannot afford to look after her child, that does not make her unfit.
Right. It has to be like a drug addict kind of thing.
Where he puts the child in a situation where he puts the child in danger. Okay.
Yeah.
But you said the law is the law. So in that instance where the mother is, quote unquote, let me put that poor, but the father is
Has means.
Yeah, then should build a house, put his child, connect electricity, provide food, clothing,
and let the
shelter.
mother live there with the child.
Yes.
Even if there's another guy in the relationship.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because I think that's the problem that a lot of men have.
Men look very closely when it comes to that. You know, the idea of another man enjoying my money, enjoying my hard labor.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you went and interfered with a woman who is so poor, right? Know where you're going, know what you're doing. And you can't come back and say, oh, well, because she don't have money to build a house, you only live in a shack that leaks whenever it rains, then my child shouldn't be there. No, fix up the shack and let her, you know.
I suspect when you open the lines, we'll get a few calls.
If you have a good place to raise your child.
Yeah, have a good place to raise your child. Why you think you are the only one who can raise a child? And your wife or your girlfriend, the only one that can provide for a child. What about the natural mother? Obviously, I'm a mother, so I'm talking.
Yes, I realize that very passionately about that. So, in that case, where the it's not poverty, it's not. It has to be the child has to be in danger, right? So even in the case of abuse, then that's dangerous.
In fact, once we're on the question of the child being in danger, under the law, the ministry has the authority to move in and remove the child,
right?
If the child is in such danger,
right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the child will come to you.
No, it doesn't mean it will come to the father. Obviously, if there's a bond, because we have situations where there's no bond between father and child or mother and child, zero, zilch.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the ministry will simply place a child in the custody of a father simply because he's the father.
Right.
There has to be some period of bonding for the child to get to know that, well, that's my dad, develop a relationship. So they would probably look to some other family member who already has some kind of relationship with the child, and little by little by little, the bonding with the other parent can grow.
So I'm hearing you. What sort of encouragement? Maybe there are dads listening right now. What sort of encouragement, looking at the landscape of the situation if children in fatherless homes, fathers not involved in their children's lives, what kind of encouragement or advice would you give men?
I'd rather give women. Don't have children out of wedlock.
Yeah.
That's to the women.
To everybody then.
No, I don't.
Well, especially the women.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I hate to say that, but a lot of men can't see a skirt pass. Men have to learn to understand. You got to let it pass sometimes. Because you don't even know what lies under the skirt, especially these days. You know, so you got to, I mean, we all, women and men, must exercise control.
Yeah.
We must. Otherwise, this thing is just going to get crazy and out of control.
There are situations. So in the situations where you have fathers trying to be in the lives of their children, and you have mothers for a better word, deliberately, intentionally hindering the path of the father to the children for different reasons. What recourse does the father have?
I don't know. Just hindering him is a a matter for the court. You understand? He may probably have to go on his knees and pray. That's the first thing. But I certainly would encourage. Sometimes a lot of these things happen because of a lack of communication. So you leave me, you have another woman, you ain't seen my child. Or you leave me, you have another man, you know, I'm not supporting that child. There has to be communication. People have to be on speaking terms. And there must be an understanding that whatever we have to do has to be in the best interest of that child. I may think that my way is the best way and your way is a rubbish way, but it's not necessarily so.
Right.
And I know the family court had free counseling services that they arranged, and probably people need to take advantage of that as well. But in terms of what the father can realistically do, I don't know that he can try in court, but he may not succeed. And as I said, he may not get the custody he's looking for, but what the court would encourage is that there's some kind of communication, some kind of bonding, and some kind of provision being made for the welfare of the child. And as that grows day by day, moment by moment, eventually it may well mean that the child understands, well, that's my dad, and I want to go and spend time with my dad as well.
Right.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah.
And is it is it because of how the law is stated? You said the custody is with the child, with the mom.
mother.
That is in the
Yeah.
one case.
Yeah.
So-
If it were a marriage situation, obviously it's different. Yeah.
Married, married separating, married in a
Both
separation.
situations, once the parties are married, that's a lawful child. The law looks at it differently. The amount of maintenance you'd get for that child is different.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas in an unmarried situation, the last I know, it was it $300, $250 or $300 a month, some crazy thing like that. But when the parties are married, there's no limit. It's what it takes to maintain the child.
Right. Okay.
What the parties can afford.
Okay.
So if it is that you can afford to pay $1,000 for your child, it will be $1,000.
Right.
Okay.
So in the case of custody and rights, is the same. Is the same. The custody. Is with the
No,
mother?
there would normally be, and I'm talking divorce here now, joint custody. So both parties would have, both husband and wife would have custody, and there would be what is called primary care and control. So the child would probably stay with one parent, but the other parent, which is the father, would have access. And we leave it to unlimited access, but if the people just can't get along, then the court would define what the access. Pick up the child Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, drop them back on Sunday afternoon at 7 o'clock, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, most times people can agree on these things, but if they really can't, then, they may employ
Investigation.
counselors and what have you to review the situation, make recommendations. There may be recommendations for co-parenting and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
We have a question.
Yeah.
If a man fathers a child through rape and thereafter files for joint custody under the law, does that father have a right to have joint custody?
Well, first of all, the person would have to see whether he married her after he raped her.
So,
Okay.
because based on what you said, there's
Yeah.
a law pertaining to married
Married
and unmarried.
situations and
So,
unmarried.
if it's a married situation, it's different from an
Yeah.
unmarried situation. I'm learning that. Wow.
But that rapist would have gotten arrested already.
Oh, I know a situation where it has happened, where a young lady was raped. I don't know if the guy really liked her or what. In the end, they got married.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
Okay, we have another question. In the LGBTQ plus era, does the law consider same-sex parents through adoption?
Well, we haven't reached that stage, and I hope to God we never reach that stage.
Right.
We can open our lines. It seems that persons want to interact. So 452-1011 and 4619-647. I want to give you as much time as possible to interact with Sister Bernard as we go along in the program. So can a mother leave the island of the child without the father's consent?
Which situation? Married or married?
Well, let's do unmarried first and then married.
Married. If it's a married situation, they can. I mean, you have to tell me now, they're married or are they in the divorce court? Where are they?
Okay, married and divorce court.
Generally, the court would want permission from the other side. Unmarried is her child; she can go where she wants.
Without saying anything.
Okay, married and not in divorce court, but not
living together.
Not on the same wavelength.
I believe she can. Maybe when he find out, it'll be too late.
Yeah.
If they're in separate households.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all that is because of how the law is stated.
Yeah.
I keep going back there.
But I noticed Sister Bernard started with said she had a preamble. She said that because of the way women were treated,
Yes,
the
it's
law
a cultural thing.
is written culturally to protect
cultural thing.
women. Now, of course, you cannot contest you can't do something that's against the law.
Yeah.
The law is there. You first have to change the law and get it changed.
And that is why I've said on another radio station, people vote for people, and that's it. If you need law change, approach your, is it rep they call them? And speak to them about what's affecting you under the law and see how they can assist in changing the law, because it's really Parliament that can change the law.
Right.
Right.
True.
You understand? But we vote for them, we leave them there until next time.
Yeah.
And, just like maintenance of, children of unmarried parents. If you look at the German situation, I think off the bat, 1/3 of the father's salary goes towards maintaining the child. In St. Lucia, it's a measly 2-something. Yeah.
That can barely get a single person a
Barely
week.
buy bread for the month.
Yes.
Or for the week, for that matter.
Yeah, especially now with all of the inflation and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have any other question on the platform? So we can move. Yes, go ahead.
No, I just Sister Bernard said a measly 200, and yet still people give stress to put that and give that. I mean, those who can
put it
afford
that way. You're hardly working. You have one child.
Mm-hmm.
You have another child. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
You have another child. That's number 3 now. You're still hardly working. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With Makaibao?
The economy is already not very. It's not very. I mean, persons. I've said it here before. Persons who are working regular job, they work every day, and they don't have any children. It's hard for them to make ends meet. Fathers, if you have 2 or 3 children, how do you maintain that? It's very difficult. So as you're saying there, it's wise to consider before you get into relationships. That's and what you do with having children and so on and so forth. Yeah. We can move on to the next segment.
Yeah. Unless people have questions, but yeah.
Yeah, we can move on to the next segment. So we're looking at wills and deeds of donation.
Yes.
Now, I've heard it said before that, it's easier to pass something on to somebody through a deed of donation than a will.
No, it's not easier. A deed of donation is something you do now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can donate to you this building now by way of a deed of donation.
Right.
But if I leave a will, it's when I close my eyes, you'll get the building.
Oh.
Right.
And tomorrow, I may do that will today, Pass. Tomorrow I change my mind. You upset me, okay. Tomorrow I'm going to change my will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer you, it's probably Sharina.
Okay, all right.
You understand? So your will is a flexible thing that you can change any time, how many times you want.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one remains in force,
Mm-hmm.
If it's the last one and you close your eyes, it's the last one that's the valid one.
Right.
Right.
When you said that, Richie's eyes open because he's hoping Shirina gets the building. Yeah. So whichever one that ends, the person passes is the one. That, so you can't go to whatever.
Yeah.
So based on what you said, I can't donate something to someone after I pass?
No, you have to live it by will. For them to get it. Okay, let's take a real situation.
Yes.
Let's say you married, you got your 2 kids, right? Your lawful children. If you don't have a will, I know your wife passed. If you don't have a will,
Right.
and you close your eyes,
Right.
it's your 2 children alone in the whole wide world who will inherit.
Right.
If you made a will, you can decide, well, I'll give Shirina the car, and I'll give Sister Bernard the dog, and I'll give Pastor whatever. That's the will. You can stipulate what you want in your will. But once you don't have a will, the government, the law stipulates for you who gets what.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Not what, but who gets.
So whatever I donated to someone before I pass, it belongs to the person.
Well, yeah, but not if, it depends on what you're talking about that you donate. If you have a piece of land, let's say you have a piece of land at VG, and you say, okay, Pass, I'm giving you that.
Right.
You have to do a deed of donation.
Right.
Now, if you do it, then that's fine, and you close your eyes, it's his.
Right.
Yeah.
In the absence of that, if you pass, the children or whoever
Yeah,
can
it
challenge
is your
it.
lawful heirs.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, do you have a question?
We have a question. It says, where is the fairness in arresting a man who, after losing his job, cannot pay child support for a few months?
Oh, well, where's the fairness in a child going hungry for a few months? That's the question he must answer.
Okay.
He or she.
So there's a responsibility on the man who lost a job.
Yes.
So in other words, you have a child and you
But
should
look
find
at
a
it.
way to provide.
I know. Look
No,
at it.
not. Okay, go ahead.
Look at it from the point of view of a woman.
Yes.
You have a
Yes.
child.
Right.
You lose your job. You're going to tie your waist. You're going to sell things.
That's what I'm
sell
saying.
sweets by the road. You're
That's
going to
what
put
I'm
up a
saying.
tray. You're going to
That's what I'm
scrub
saying.
somebody's floor. You're going to wash
Because you have
somebody's
to
clothes.
provide for the child.
Because you have to provide
Yeah,
for the
that's what I'm
child. That's
saying.
your obligation.
Yeah.
What is the man doing? Oh, I lost my job.
And that's
I
it.
fold my arms. I just lost my job.
But you do have situations where people are trying to look for a job and they cannot find
I'm
it.
not trying to look for a job. You have to do something. You have to get creative. Yeah, do something, man. You have to
Say
get
no more
creative.
yeah.
Yes, no more yeah. My grandmother used to say "mawe when we say fam," and I believe the same thing for men. You have a responsibility. Tie your waist and go and look. Ask Sister Bernard if she have the yard to cut the grass, or Sharina if she needs a car washed, or something like that. You know, you got to get up
You
and
have
go
to
and
think
do.
differently because you have a child now.
You have a child.
Does it so the man have that responsibility to provide? Can I ask that question? The man has to give. So in the instance where the wife is unemployed, too, she too has to tie her waist, or
Everybody have to tie their waist.
But I get you. You shouldn't have an excuse.
No.
I lost my job. You have a child who's going to go
There are
hungry.
farmers begging
Find
for
a way.
workers. Go and look for a job.
That's
Go
right.
and clean some
I'm
bananas.
looking for workers I can't get.
Somebody else said it makes more sense to incarcerate his wages, his savings, than to arrest him. He cannot earn if he's inside.
Well, I don't know. Well, it depends on what reason he's inside. If, let us say,
I
the
think-
court orders you to pay, let's say,
$250.
$250 to maintain your child, and you haven't done, you refuse to do it, then the court can incarcerate you for disobeying the order of the court. So you go in there, you spend the time, you still come back, and the $250 is still owing.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood.
All right. Yeah, but would somebody who is cooperative and with the court in that situation and explains to the court the situation that they are in and what they're trying to do,
Right.
and somebody who's whenever the time comes is regular and is meeting the obligation, would the law be so stiff with the person?
Well, I don't think the law would tell the person not to provide for your child. The magistrate or the judge would understand, okay, you lost your job, but then they would quickly tell you, try to find a job.
Yeah.
Try to find something where, by which you can earn something
Right.
to be able to pay your debt. Because if it's the bank, you lose your job. You tell the bank, okay, I just lost my job, I can't pay my mortgage. The bank will give you so much time.
Grace
But at
period.
some point, they're going to tell you, well, we'll have to move in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
true.
another question, sorry.
Yes,
it
go
says,
ahead.
why don't they garnish the men's wages?
Oh, they do. That's because the women don't want to do it, but the law provides for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, it's still the welfare of the child, because it's as if I'm going to say to you, okay, you're not working, it's okay. The children still have to be fed. The
Yeah.
children still have
Yeah,
to
what
eat.
are you doing? Pies.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know?
It's true for true, because when I wake up in the morning, or when I have to think about what am I going to give my children to eat today, and then the gentlemen out there, we have to take our
And I
responsibility
believe too,
seriously.
Paz, a lot of the not unwanted, but children who come out of these unlawful
Situations.
relationships is because women have no choice but to do what they have to do.
Mhm.
And part of that may result in a child being conceived
Mhm.
Explain-
just to feed the other child.
Explain that.
You want it live and raw?
No. The circumstances
Okay,
created.
let's say a woman has 2 children.
Mhm.
She can't make ends meet. She's trying her best. She's working, whatever.
Right.
It just can't meet. So she
Right.
meets a guy, handsome-looking guy, full of talks and sweet nothings, they call it.
Yes.
So she falls for it because she thinks that, okay, maybe he can give me $100.
Mhm.
So she goes to bed with him. She gets pregnant. Child number 3.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of situations happen because of that.
Yeah. More questions?
Yes, we have another question. After the person dies, how is the will executed? Is it through a lawyer, or is there a deed given to the
Probate.
family before death so that they know how
No.
to?
You have to make a will whilst you are alive, so it's not after death.
No,
So
I
you-
mean I think the person dies. What happens there?
When they left a will,
Yes.
then you have to take it to a lawyer to probate. It's just a fancy legal word for register.
Okay.
Okay.
So it remains a piece of paper until it's registered.
All right, and that probably cannot happen before the person's dead.
No, it has to be on because the will does not come into effect until the person dies.
Mhm.
So the deed of donation does not have that process.
No, the deed of donation is now. I give you right now the field in VG. So it's yours right now.
So I wanted to ask, because you said the will can change.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you make your will today, Pass. You decide, well, okay, my house at Marisil, I'll give it to Alvin.
Mhm.
My house in Viewfort, I'll give it to Richie.
Mhm.
Tomorrow you fall out with Richie. I'm rooting for you, boy. Tomorrow you fall out with Richie. You go and do another will, or you strike Richie off and you give Alvin everything.
Right.
You know? That's how it is.
But for deed of donation, you cannot change your mind.
You can change it because a deed of donation what we call the consideration for a deed of donation is love and affection.
Okay.
That's a consideration. So I'm giving you this because of the love and affection I have for you, whether it's mother and child,
Right.
father and son, cousin, whatever. Or two strangers, they can in fact do that. But if the relationship fall out and there's no more love and affection, then you can go to a lawyer to have it improbated, to cancel.
I can cancel a deed of donation, so it could.
Okay.
I have a question, though.
So keep loving Alvin on that.
When you get that, you better maintain that love.
Yeah, so keep loving.
So with the deed of donation, what if the person use it? For example, you give the example of the field. So what if he goes ahead
And he sells the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no more field, so
Right.
the person can't cancel.
Oh.
I mean, there's a legal term. I won't use fancy legal terms.
Right.
But that's it, end of story.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. So you give me what if you give me a field? Because I'm into farming.
Yeah.
You give me a field, Alvin, that's your piece of land there, it's yours.
I give you paper.
I give you paper, deed of donation, right? And then I take this field and I put a whole whack of work, a whole lot of passion fruit on it, and it's looking good. And then you come to me and you say, you know what?
Give my field
Give my
back.
field back.
But there must be the basis. The legal basis is that you've reneged upon, whatever, and there's, something has happened in the interim.
Okay.
And the court would examine that
That's right. I
to
was about
see
say.
if my claim is valid
Right.
when I ask for my will back, my field back.
My field back.
I was
Wow.
about to ask that would need to be verified
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
You catch in your mind after all of Alvin's work.
yeah.
That cabbage. So in okay, well, Alvin's wife is bad, but in an instance where marriage must there be a will in place? I think in case there are children or anything, or
If you're married and you have a will, and the will is intended for, let's say, your spouse and your children, you have a will for your spouse and your children.
Right.
There's no need to change, except if you fall out with this woman
right.
and you now want to give, let's say, all to your children, then you would have to do a new will, or what is called a codicil, but I always advise do a new one, to remove this person's name and to put the names of whoever you now wish. But if you die and it's there, that's the last will, then that's what's going to happen. That's who will benefit.
Right.
Before I thought maybe I was wrong,
Maybe.
that if two persons were married and they have children, and if one party dies, if they had shared property, the property goes to the spouse. But that had
like
never
that.
been the case.
Let's look at different scenarios. You have husband and wife and children. The property is on the husband's name alone,
Right.
and he dies.
Yes.
It's his property.
Right.
It goes to his wife and his children. Let us say the property was in two names, husband, wife,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The husband cannot inherit from the wife. If the husband dies first, the wife cannot inherit from the husband's half, because remember, she already has half.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So his half, husband's half, will now go to the children.
Okay.
Now, if there's more than one property, so let us say we have a property in Grozile for $5 million and a property in Viewfort for $100,000, right? The property in Grozile is in the husband's name. The property in Viewfort, which is the lesser value, is in both names. For her to inherit from the Grozile $5 million one, she has to give up her share in the Viewfort, and the law calls it a mass. So everything is put into a pot.
Right.
You shake that pot, and she gets 1/3, and the children get 2/3.
Right.
Now, sometimes arithmetically, it is better to keep your half
Right.
than to bring the other thing in the picture and to pick up half of the whole,
Right.
because you lose in that
Right,
way.
yeah, right.
Okay.
So it is something that we as lawyers will look at closely and advise the clients accordingly.
Wow.
Okay, I have another question. Another scenario. Husband and wife together, they have children. Wife dies. Husband remarries. What happened to the second? What does the second wife
Okay, you have to
inherit?
tell me a little more. So he remarries. Does he have children with second wife?
No.
No children. He just has second wife and children
child-
from the first
the
marriage.
previous
Well, they
marriage.
share. The new wife and the children of the previous marriage share what he left behind.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, so if you have your questions, now is the time to approach the bench and ask.
It's not the bench. The bench are the judges.
to ask your question, and make your calls, and of course send your messages. Don't lose this opportunity. Let's go to another one where we started already. The land disputes.
Yes.
Land disputes. So maybe you can start with a question. Why are land and real estate particularly common flashpoints of disputes between siblings and relatives compared to other assets like bank accounts?
Oh, bank accounts, if they're big, they become the subject.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. When it comes to land, people just get ignorant. I don't know why.
So true.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a valid explanation for why there is dispute, but I mean, it is what it is.
Maybe the value of it. People think that
Could be.
it's worth.
Yeah.
It's worth fighting.
And that's
for.
why we always encourage people to make a will. So you remove all the doubt. I mean, you have situations where a man may die, and his only heir would be, let's say, his nieces and nephews. Let's say he had no children, nieces and nephews, but they never look after this man. And the law would bring in those nieces and nephews with rights of inheritance. And I mean, that can cause confusion because he may have had somebody there with him, taking care of him.
Right.
And to find out that person cannot inherit from the man that, she maybe spent all her life looking after.
Right.
So that is why we always encourage people, make a will.
Right.
It's as easy as that.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of the bank account situation, I I witnessed that in a bank. So someone came to a customer service rep and said that she wanted to know, her father had passed and she wanted to know how much money is on the account, on his account, to take care of the funeral expenses. Because I guess she didn't expect, and she's the one taking care, managing. And the customer rep said that unless your name is on the account, I cannot give you that information. So is it how do you protect against that? You are.
But first of all, the bank has confidentialities attached to everybody's account, so they will not just divulge information
right.
simply because you come and you say, "Well, I'm his daughter. I am the one who has always been looking after him."
Right.
What we normally do to assist, I have done it, is to write I send them to the funeral home to get a bill for the basics, coffin, whatever. And they come with that, and then we write the bank and say, listen, would you consider releasing to, let's say it was Crick, releasing to Crick $5,000 to pay for the burial of this person? 10 to 1 they would. Without disclosing what's on, once there's enough, without disclosing what's on it, and they would tell you, well, for you to know for sure, you have to bring letters of administration.
Right.
Now, letters of administration is a complicated thing. It's not a DSO thing.
Right.
It's a process that you have to go through the court that costs a lot of money to get letters of administration. So, but in terms of the funeral expenses, the burial expenses, most of the banks, well, at least the local banks I know, would release just enough to pay the funeral, whether it's for the casket, and the ancillaries that accompany the casket. And
I think that what, if I recall, as you mentioned there, they did tell her to, what she can do is to come in for a letter of administration. And her reply to that was that if I'm going to get a letter of administration that costs so much money, and then I find out
it's not even enough to cover it.
Not enough to cover it. So I wanted to gauge how much, and they tell her they can't help.
They can't give I'm pretty sure they can assist by giving a ballpark.
Arrange.
Yeah, sort of arrange so the person can know, well, it makes sense or it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, whether to invest in that. But yes.
So we have another question.
Yes.
If a married couple with children die intestate, what happens or should happen to their property?
The married couple, both parents have passed, and they have lawful children?
Yes.
Well, the children should go to a lawyer to get... Well, I'm hoping in that situation there's no will. There's no will?
No.
Okay. They'll have to go to a lawyer to have letters of administration done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which costs a lot of money.
Well, that's relative.
Arrangements can be made with the law firm regarding
we
that.
do that all the time. We make arrangements with people to assist them.
Yeah.
And we have another contribution, so let's listen.
In a case where there is a bastard child and the father is gone, the biological children are also gone. Can the bastard child inherit, or does he or she have the right to be heir of property?
If the man was a married man, no. Period. Full stop.
I didn't hear the question because
She was saying if there's a bastard child and the father who is a married man dies and his lawful children die, whether the bastard, we'll just say bastard for the moment, whether the bastard child can inherit, the answer is plain straight no. Because the law says that you cannot inherit from a man who was married and divorced. Well, the actual wording is that he does not die as a single man. And a single man is a man who was never married.
Okay.
So married and divorced means you were married.
Right.
Married and your wife died, you were married.
Right.
Married and once you're married, your bastard children cannot inherit.
Unless there's a will.
Unless there's a will.
Okay.
And bastard means ineligible.
Parents are not married.
Parents are not married. Yeah.
Out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Out of wedlock.
So
Yes.
that child cannot inherit.
Cannot, will not.
Even if a paternity test?
MEMS do your paternity test.
So that's why it's important
to make a will.
To make the will.
If you leave it for the law to decide for you, that's what the law
already
says.
states
Yes.
the child cannot inherit.
Yes. Do I have an issue with that? No.
The questions are coming fast and furious.
Yes, go ahead.
Next question.
They can call too.
Yes. What is the difference between a will and a trust?
A trust is created in a will. And generally you find parents create a trust to manage, if they die and the children are still minors, to manage their estate for the children. So you would, appoint somebody in the will to be the trustee who would manage the account or the property of some properties are rented, there's income coming in and that kind of thing, to make provision for your child, your minor child.
Yeah. And that would be instances like myself, because I have two children, right? And my wife has died, right? So in preparation for them, if something were to happen to me, I would need a trustee.
Yeah, so let's say you came to me and you said, well, I want to do a will. We would create a trust in the will on behalf of the children until they reach the age of majority, which in St. Lucia is 18. Yeah. Some people do specify beyond 18, like 21.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I came across one, and the father put 40. 40. I didn't do that, Will. I would have discouraged the man. But, yeah, some people can do that. Just to make sure you don't go and squander it. You meet a boyfriend and they help you spend it. Yeah, you know. Yeah, but generally 18 or maybe 21, because you feel at age 21 they're a little more mature
yes.
and they can...
Yeah, I would think so, yes.
Okay.
25.
We have another question.
Yes.
How come the letter of administration gone through by the government takes so much time? Mine is 3 years. At 3 years. And the lawyer's version is much shorter, below 1 year. Why the...
Well, I don't know, you get what you pay for. It's as simple as that.
One is more expensive than the other.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I find it strange the person who worded that way. Because if the thing is filed, it goes in the system and it takes a particular time.
Right.
So I don't know on what basis.
It's taking so long.
Yeah.
It's 3 years, you say?
Nothing that's free is good, you know. I'm telling you that.
That's from a legal point of view?
Right, that's from a legal, factual point of view.
Cheap is not good.
Cheap not good, man.
Stress.
So to get those things, you have to pay some money.
For your...
But with the government, you still have to pay. It's over 2,000.
And even then, that's the
We're
government.
getting a call.
That's the filing fee, yeah?
We get a call.
Praise good day. You are on the air. Good afternoon. Hi, Sister Regis.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
This is a live scenario that I would really like to get an answer on.
Sure,
or
go
some
ahead.
feedback on. So if a parent puts the name of a child on a deed for a property, but then the parent passes away, before they pass, they created a trust. And on that trust, they put another child with another child's name as the person who would inherit that property. But you still have the name of another child as the name on the deed of the same property. Who really has the right to that property after the
child whose name is on the deed?
So it doesn't matter what the trust says?
No. Because you've already given the child the property by way of deed.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just change it by way of a will or a trust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sister Regis.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
No
Thank you
problem.
for calling. So I mean, this tells you how important it is.
A deed is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the trust cannot change anything. Like I pass away, and somebody's in charge of my children. They can't change anything legally on the document.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
We have another question. If a married couple has a piece of land, no children, no will, and the husband dies, will the wife have total ownership of that property?
No.
What happened to you, Pastor David?
Doctor,
remember, the person dies without a will, so the Lord decides who gets it. So you have mother, father, sister, brother, nieces, nephews coming in the picture. Lawful, that is.
You're not serious?
Lawful, yeah.
What?
Because you didn't buy the property together.
No.
But the person's name, the wife's name is not on the deed from what
right
is right there.
Yes.
But if the wife's name is on the deed?
Well, she has her half, and his half now is determined by the law.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the absence of a will.
In the absence of a will.
So a will is
so
very
her
important.
half is secured.
Yes.
Right.
But his half
Can go
the
to his
law
family.
would
Can go to his
decide.
family.
If there were children, clean cut, it would
Yeah,
be the
go to-
children.
Mhm.
Right.
You understand?
So at no point beyond the will does a spouse inherit the other
Everything.
spouse's property.
At no point.
Because based on the examples
The law, in the absence of a will, the law always looks for lawful issue.
Right.
Lawful,
Yes, the
people,
that can challenge.
brothers, sisters.
So if people step forward and say,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So a will is important.
A will is very, very, extremely important.
So I have a question. So what
And
if
you're going to feel good after you've made your will.
Right.
Because you don't leave it for the
Secure.
government,
And to
the law,
decide,
to
yeah.
decide for you.
No,
I mean, even
or
as...
your family members. or
Exactly,
anybody.
exactly. Even me as a lawyer, when I eventually made my will, I felt very relieved, although the law protects my children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, they're lawful children.
Right.
So I didn't have to do a will, but for my own comfort, I thought I should do a will so that my children don't have any problems.
Right.
So nothing to worry
Yeah.
about and
Oh,
stress.
yeah.
I have a question. So what if a husband dies, wife is there, but the children or child dies before the wife? What happens?
So we only had one lawful child?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's still that spouse that's remaining,
Mm-hmm.
and that spouse will share with lawful brothers, sisters, nieces,
Yeah.
nephews, mother, father.
Yeah.
Okay.
So protect your family.
Yeah, basically.
And the issue here again goes deeper than that, because in case you have to do, let's say the death takes place and you have to do something with that property now.
To be able to bury the person?
No, with the property. Let's say you have to do renovation, you want to build, you want to sell, you can't do anything unless these people.
That's right, unless you have the proper papers,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's letters of administration.
I really thought, Sister Bernard,
It
that
goes
if
straight
you
to the wife?
married
Yeah,
the
and
wife,
automatically
No.
just,
No,
yeah.
no, I tell people go to your MP and make them change the law, but that is the law.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right.
make a will, no matter what.
Somebody's asking the cost of a will.
Well, it depends on a whole host of circumstances.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would not venture to say the cost of a will on air,
I call.
not knowing what the situation
Yes,
is.
yeah.
Okay. Another question. My grandfather left a will, and one of his sons was not happy with what was left for him. He took the family to court, and the court changed the will.
I don't
Do
believe
you
that.
know under what circumstance the court will change a will?
Except if it was a really vague situation,
Mhm.
the court would then interpret.
Mhm.
And to me, that's the only situation. But the court would not vary the terms of a will that's valid, a valid will. The court would not interfere with the terms.
Okay.
So if the person makes the will and he says that I leave everything I have to
My only brother
John, the court would not interfere with that. You understand? If the court declares that it's not a valid will, then it would mean that you die without a valid will. And so you go back to the situation where the law decides who gets. Because people try all kinds of crazy things. So, there's specific conditions for a will to be valid.
Right, I was about to ask, because I hear you saying valid will.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There are different types of wills.
Okay.
And the law provides for the validity of. So you have the notarial will, which is done before a lawyer and two witnesses or two lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
These ones are generally the safest ones.
Okay.
And you have what you call the holograph will, where the person himself decides he'll make his own will. But there are certain things. It has to be witnessed. It has to be, and then there's the English will. There must be a JP involved for it to be valid. All kinds of things. So that's why people have to be very careful that they just don't sit on. I remember a lady came to me. Her husband decides to make his own will. And, okay, he writes everything to my wife, Mary Jane. And he has Mary Jane to witness the will. That invalidated the will one time.
Yeah.
One time. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Remember, you can call if you have your questions. Let us hear your voices on the phone as well. We can move on to the next area, which is donations, given to the, in particular in reference to giving to the church. So I want to have a piece of property or have some assets. I want to hand it over to the church. What is the process involving that?
You can do a deed of transfer, a deed of sale, can do a deed of donation if you care. But let me tell you, I prefer to do, if it's for the church, because a deed of donation can be set aside for so many reasons, I prefer and I encourage, when it comes to the church, do a deed of transfer.
Deed of transfer.
And the cost is the same. Whether you do a donation or transfer or a sale, the cost is the same. It's just that the effect is different. Because you remember, you can ask the court to cancel a deed of donation for ingratitude. But if it's a deed of transfer, you transfer this glass to me. Yeah. So.
We're on the donation, but there's a question there and I'm curious. Can the government take over your property at any point in time?
They can, but it has to be for a public purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be for a public purpose. But they can decide what a public purpose is. For instance, if that is your field over there, they can decide to take it as a public playing field.
Right.
But they must pay you the full value, the market value of your property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't dispute that, huh?
No, you can't really dispute it as long as it's for a public purpose.
Right. So a road?
For a road, for so many reasons.
Okay.
As long as it's for a public purpose, not a private purpose.
Right. So a multi-purpose court?
Yeah, that's a public purpose. But they have to pay you. They have to pay
So that payment that they're giving you, it's market value?
Market.
It should be. I think the law stipulates market value.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a question. What happens if a husband had a child in a previous marriage, wife now deceased, married again, and God forbid passes? Who gets right to the son, the new wife or his grandparents?
Well, I don't want to say anybody. The court would have to examine who is the best person to look after that child. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the welfare of the child.
Right.
So if it's the grandparent that the child has bonded with and can relate to, and of course you look at the age of the child, if it's a little child, a baby in arms or whatever, or an or let's say a 17-year-old edging 18, that person may have a point of view of, okay, I prefer to stay by my grandma kind of thing. It depends. If they had no relationship with the new wife, would you believe they ever want to stay there?
Right.
Especially if they're edging 18? No way, I don't think so.
So there are times when the court would ask the child their opinion.
Yeah, if the child is old enough, the court would examine a whole heap of things. The court would probably appoint what's the word, social worker or whoever it is, to inquire, make inquiries. They would go to the school, find out how it is, and speak to the neighbors. Go to the church and find out the relationship between one person and or other people and the child, and write up a report and give an opinion as to who they think is the best in the circumstances to have that child.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go. Go ahead.
No, I was about to ask. Since you were on the question on giving to the church, can a will? There's no limitations in a will. So
no limitations. You can leave your property for the church by will, and many people have done that.
Okay.
And that is commendable. Let me just say it one time. Yeah.
I'm happy you said without asking.
Yeah. Especially when you look around, and I've known of situations where people were members of the church. They pass. They didn't make a will. They leave their property for, let's say, their children. The children migrate. They don't care about the property.
Right.
The property stays here, it deteriorates, whereas it could go towards the cause of God.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of persons listening online who may be in Canada, the States, and they may be in that situation. Would you encourage them to donate?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I would.
So what are the steps that the person can do to make that happen?
Well, they have to first of all express a willingness to do it, and once they express that willingness, then they go to a lawyer, and the lawyer would, take it from there and do what needs to be done.
So that willingness expressed to the church or to the lawyer.
Well,
where do we begin that?
Either one, as long as they express the willingness to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, for example, I would have to call a mission
and say, listen, I'd like to do this, that, and the other.
Right, and then make it happen.
Yeah.
Is there a time when the church can look at the asset and say no?
Yes.
Or should they say no?